Twiceborn. I have the honor of being the progenitor of the fighting style that's been adopted by the Empire of Medieval Pursuits, and that you are watching this to figure out what it is. The first rule of the EMP fighting style is be excellent to each other, and all of the subsequent rules that come after it, and that we'll be explaining today, keep that in mind. In the EMP, we use weapons that are designed mostly of rattan for heavy combat. As you'll see here, we have a defined striking surface that is leather over rattan, and the thrusting tip is made out of foam so that hard thrusts, as hard as you can do, are unlikely to do serious damage. So with that, when we design these, look at the rules and you will find good ways to build excellent quality and fine-looking weapons. The HMB, you must have everything be of steel or medieval-grade materials. In the EMP, it is different. If you feel protected by plastic, you can wear plastic. If you feel protected by leather, you may wear leather. If you feel protected by some foamy thing given to you by your grandmother, you can wear that as long as it meets the minimum standards. In the EMP, we have different minimums. It looks a lot more like this. I have a helmet with a chain drape. I have a covering for my body. It doesn't even have to be a gambeson. I have gauntlets. I have a soup can elbow, a soup can knee, and a cup. On my legs, I would normally have shins, but minimum is leather. This is the minimum you can go to. This is probably the maximum you can go to. Anything in between is fine. This covers both. If you want to fight in both, come with your steel gear. In the EMP, we use a system called the tell. There are 3 styles of blow that affect the tell. The first of them is a light blow. When you get hit by a blow that you consider on your armor is too light to have done you any form of damage, you may say light, you may say nothing, whatever you would like. However, what it translates directly to your opponent as is, I want you to hit me harder. When you do this, we have a pretty strict no whiners policy. If you ask to be hit harder, you will be hit harder. Don't complain about it later. The opposite side of the scale is called a substantial blow. A substantial blow is one that does you the kind of damage that you go, please God, don't hit me like that again, or that you feel would have taken you out of a fight, such as a spear shot that covers your eye, something that stabs you in the groin and you don't want to be hit there any harder, something that hits you, say, throat, armpit, whatever you want, that you go, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have taken me out of the fight. You may end the fight on a substantive blow. Anything in between substantive blow and light blow is called a telling blow. For the tell, in general, we go to 3 hits or 3 tells. However, that is not required. If you and your opponent agree, you can have a fight that goes to 20 telling blows. You can have a fight that goes to 1 first blood. Anything you would like. The variance is there so that you can craft the kind of fighting experience that you want to have. When we are fighting, James is in armor, and if I get a blow that just clips by, that would likely be light, like this. Even one that does that, even though it makes a lot of noise, it is probably light. He can call it that way, it will be clean. A telling blow itself should impact a fighter in such a way that he feels it was good. Can I hit you in the leg or in the chest? What do you think? Okay, so
1.
He says 1. That tells me he accepts the blow as good or not. He gets the choice. It's always going to be up to him. Same thing for helmets, same thing for hands.
2.
Right? If you hit it and hard enough, he will call it. If not, he won't, and you may adjust your fights accordingly. It seems likely that substantial blows would be very difficult on someone who is armed here. However, thrusts into here or cuts into the groin would be considered probably substantial. Thrusts that come up underneath the helmet into the chin, or if he's wearing an open-faced helmet, it will be into the bar grill. Helmets are designed are as worn as designed. When they have an open face or a chainmail drape on them, they are considered open face. With an open face helmet that would not have had these bars at the time it was actually used, your tell is counted as 1 higher. A light blow would be counted as a telling blow. A telling blow would be counted as substantial. So if, say, I was striking and I hit,
Substantial.
he would say substantial because it was on the gap in the eyes, and that's where he would go, okay, that's telling, I move it up. I just got hit in the face with a sword. The same thing would be said about striking with a basket hilt or an armored fist. So the armored fist would count as 1, and so would the basket hilt. We have a rule in general in the EMP that says, in order to be excellent to each other, you use metal strikes metal, not flesh. So here is a good place for me to punch, basket hilt, anything I want to do like that. However, not so much in the groin, not so much in this gap here or here. Try and keep metal to metal and you'll do much better. Principal difference in the EMP versus either steel fighting or anything else is that thrusting is a primary attack form. When you are in a position to, you may always stab your opponent. Our armor is designed for that, both one-handed and two. You can stab as hard as you want. As a matter of fact, it is promoted. However, once again, be excellent to your opponent. If you have him at a disadvantage, don't just gouge him in the groin. There are quite a number of ways in which we allow grappling within the EMP. Besides just striking, as you saw earlier, we can grip. You can grab a blade. You can grab an arm. You can grab a face. You can grab a leg. You can do all manner of grips. However, there are limitations that we have imposed for a variety of reasons. One is torsions. Torsions are when you rotate limbs toward where they're not supposed to be. This is a torsion. It'll break the wrist here. This is a torsion. It'll dislocate the shoulder. The same thing goes for feet. The same thing especially goes for helmets. You don't torque on the neck, but you can grab the head, pull down, push up, strike into, all manner of things like that without twisting. Grapples and throws. When you are going to be grappling with somebody, there will be a temptation to put them on the ground, because on the ground you may get automatic substantial hits. This primary one that works is the step through and drop. Normally this works well on unarmored opponents. With armored opponents, the chance of injury accelerates because of the helmet being high, which means we don't want to see the full hip toss where his head flies down to the ground first and his legs fly up. Sorry, I got it. Or you do not want to see, or what you do want to do looks like this. You'll be here and you go to the ground with him. You escort your opponent to the ground. From this position, you have control, but he has not been slammed down to the point where he could be injured, or at least easily. It may happen, it may not, but it won't be intentional if you do it properly. In the EMP, target areas tend to be slightly different than a vast number of other things. We have more. You can strike anywhere on a standing opponent, from his ankles all the way to the top of his head. The hands are legal targets. The body, armpit, groin, everything is a legal target. However, be excellent to each other. Going around kicking guys in the groin, not cool. However, but you can if it's necessary and you and your opponent agree. The feet are non-legal targets on the ground. But if James snaps up a kick at me, I can cut into his foot and have it be legal. In the EMP, we have somewhat different rules about striking from behind. If for whatever reason, James and I are fighting and he spins around and tries to either run or get a strike or do anything, he is not classed as from behind. Any strike I do into James should be as if he was facing me. However, stay facing me. If I run up on him in a war scenario or something like that, and I know that he cannot see me, it's a line from about here to about here, any of these angles, I am still going to strike James, just not as hard as I can. I'll strike into here and say dead from behind and then move on. James will know at that point that he has been successfully struck from behind and that he should take it as a kill. Thanks for listening. I'm sure that I've missed a few things. And if you need, feel free to contact your local EMP Lord, the Crown, or even me personally. These names will scroll across the bottom of your screen. Anytime you want to have fun and advance your medieval experience, the Empire of Medieval Pursuits is for you. We allow almost everything and try and encourage everyone to be excellent to each other.